Mom and Dad, are you ready?
Today's word is stupendous.
You need some encouragement.
Stupendous marriage encouragement.
You need some inspiration.
I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm tired, I'm sick. There's plenty of those days, but I don't put those on social media.
All of the seven dwarfs.
Yeah, all the seven dwarfs. I become
Grumpy
all of them.
And pouty and sneezy. And...
You're listening to the Stupendous Marriage Show
with our friends Stu and Lisa Gray.
Oh, that's that word. Stupendous.
The Stupendous Marriage Show.
Welcome to the Stupendous Marriage Show. I'm Stu Gray.
Hey, I'm Lisa Gray.
Oh, you look so happy to be here, Lisa. You do. Even though right before recording, you're like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Do we want to record today? I'm fine. I'm fine.
What's so funny is you often answer my questions to you like, hey, do you want to have this for dinner? Or you want to go do this or whatever? And a lot of times you say, fine. How do I look? Fine. And it drives me crazy.
I know that fine with your looking thing isn't a good answer. I've learned that one. But, food is so not high priority to me, and we have so many issues along the food realm anyway. It's just fine. Whatever. Fine. Because I know, like, the two or three things that we always go to. So fine, whatever, fine. Fine. It's fine.
Fine.
And
Fine.
That's what you were saying today.
Fine.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Okay. Good. It's really cold in our house. My hands are cold. My feet are cold. It's like 85 degrees outside, and I'm wearing a hoodie, and I'm cold. I'm bald, so, that doesn't help, but I'm cold. Do we have the air conditioning turned down?
Not that I know of. I mean, it's on, but it's not at another temperature or something.
Okay,
so.
Just wondering. All right, I'm cool.
Well, it is cloudy and rainy today and cooler than it has been. So
and our child is home from school. After 2 days in school, he got another day off. How did this happen?
It's unfortunate. You said to me, did you see the email from school? And I'm like, what? And basically they had so many kids out in the elementary and middle school that they said to everybody else, hey, why don't you just go ahead and come get your kids? Like, if you can, come get them because there's so many people out and we don't want to spread sickness. And so there's some stomach thing going on, some stomach virus.
You said it was like 60 people were projectile vomiting last night.
Right. Something along those lines. Yeah. Out of like 400 kids. So, yeah. So he's now home. We were hoping to be recording with him at school. But, hey, we're still recording. Thankfully, he's older now and he can sit in his room. In fact, I just went in his room before I came in here and he said, get out. Mom, get out. So he really doesn't need me anymore.
I think that type of communication is going to become more and more common, unfortunately.
Oh, Lord, I hope
we pray
not.
against that one, right?
Yeah. Well, and I saw several people on Facebook today, several friends, where their kiddos were just going back to school today.
Right.
And the local county schools are going back today. And several of my friends with kids his age, like kids we were friends with either from church or from his other school, saying that their kiddos refuse to have their picture taken for the first day of school pictures. And and they were like,
because they're older now? Is that what the
they're
deal?
teenagers.
Oh, that's funny.
Both
awesome.
there was like 2 or 3 that said it, that mom said it, and they were like, yeah, dealing with a teenager. He wouldn't let me take his picture. She wouldn't let me take his picture. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. So we're doing good. I mean, I can just deal with me going in his room and him telling me not to get out.
And he let you take his picture yesterday or Wednesday. Yeah, so.
He did. He let me take his picture and he's fine with that. And actually, he's really not teenager-ish, thankfully. And I don't think he will be. I think
I agree.
He's a different kind of kid, so.
We've got an email coming up. We so appreciate you being here today. If you ever want to send us an email on whatever regarding your marriage, you can do that on air at stupendousmarriage.com. We do have a new phone number that you can call, 1-615-592-1060. All right, so the email's coming up.
Congratulations, you've got mail.
We talk a lot about you sending us an email, but we'd like to send you an email too. If you want to be encouraged in your marriage, every week I send out a Saturday Reads email of things that I found about marriage and life and family and sometimes some odd things too. But if you want to subscribe to our email, stupendousmarriage.com/subscribe. Totally free. So let's go ahead and get to the email for today. Hey, Stu and Lisa. Recently found your podcast. Glad you guys are back doing new episodes. My question has to do with expectation versus reality in marriage. My hubby and I have been married for a few years now. We have a toddler. I found myself struggling with frustration and discontentment as a stay-at-home mom. Before we got married, I'm sure I pictured myself as an ideal Christian wife and mom, being involved at church together as a family, decorating my Pinterest perfect home, etc. In reality, my husband's present work schedule doesn't allow us to do ministry as a family. We're living in a small apartment that doesn't feel like home, and plans for the future are still up in the air. This isn't where I want our family to be. I've started to take my frustration out on my husband. God has really been convicting me about my spirit, and I want to be a happier, more content wife and mom. I'd like your practical advice on how to reconcile expectation versus reality. Thanks. Look forward to hearing back from you.
Well, so glad that you found us and sent us an email. I really dealt with this in a different way, actually, when our kiddo was younger. When he was about 9 months old, we decided to buy our first house, and I ended up getting my real estate license to make that happen, and then started working. I partially did it because I didn't see myself as being a full stay-at-home mom. I don't know that I had thought that through before I had him, if I would be a stay-at-home mom or if I wouldn't. But as I had him and was around him and about 5-6 months old, I was kind of like, I don't know that I can just do this every day, all day for the next 5 years until he goes to school. That's just not the way I'm wired.
Yeah.
So when I got my real estate license and I started doing that in the part-time, it was funny that was good because that helped me feel like I had a little bit more purpose outside the home and everything. But then it made me have this mom guilt because here, these other moms that I knew were completely content being at home. They were amazing at being at home. They did the crafts and made the great lunches and did all these activities with their kiddos. And not only did I not do those things as they did, in my perception, I also didn't want to.
Yeah.
And so I really had a hard time in that place of figuring out that it's really easy as women for us to compare ourselves with each other. And the Lord literally told me when Dean was probably about 3 or 4, my neighbor, who is awesome lady, our old neighbor, she would do all these incredible games with her kids and, just come up with all these fun things for them to do and activities. And I just didn't do those things, and I started feeling guilty about it. And the Lord just told me one day, you're not her. You've got to be you. And on top of giving you a son to raise, I have also given you a business to have. And I want to bless that business, and you're blessing people through your business. And so I definitely think that a shift in perspective has got to happen to here, because it really has nothing to do with her kiddo, her husband.
Right.
It is all about the thing that she's kind of the picture she has in her head that probably was unrealistic even to begin with.
Sure. Well, and you were just talking about it. It's that grass is greener on the other side thing, always seeing what other people might be doing and going, oh, they have it better. Oh, life is better for them. Oh, I want what they have. And you just said it. You're like, I was at home and I wasn't happy, so I got the business. But then I went back and then I had mom guilt. So both sides of it were not perfect for you,
Right.
for us. And so can you be content where you are? I've heard it said that expectations are reserved resentments. Whatever expectation you have of what life could be, and then your life doesn't necessarily match up to that, you can get mad and be resentful towards your husband. It can come out in different ways. I mean, even to your toddler kiddo, it can come out to anger towards your child, which would be a bummer. But my challenge is being present. Just be present where you are. And I'm not great at that. I don't have that all figured out. But can you enjoy and be cool with where you are? What do you see? What can you touch? What can you taste? What do you feel right now in this moment, instead of projecting out to some future thing that you've made up in your head? And we all have, God-given creativity and imagination, but a lot of times that can go south really quick, and my life's not meeting up to this vivid imagination, this Pinterest, type of life that you mentioned on here.
Yeah.
And maybe you cut that out for a season. I know that was a joke. But who did I hear it first from? The phrase, Don't compare someone else's highlight reel to your behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah.
I think it was Stephen Furtick, actually, who said that first, or at least in that context, and made it really easy to understand for people. We compare ourselves to what we see on the outside of people or on Pinterest or on Facebook or on any social media site, and it looks perfect, it looks fabulous, but they get to decide what you see. And they're not showing you the dirty diapers and the sickness and not feeling well and the yells and the screams at the husband and the wife. So don't get in that trap of comparing yourself to something that you see in a picture that is put on Pinterest. I don't know why I landed on Pinterest. I know that was probably a joke, but that was probably for someone.
Yeah. And, I just want to say, it's really cool that the Lord revealed this to you and that you are willing to step into it and go, okay, God, you're convicting me and showing me and revealing me this spirit that I have right now. And you probably weren't even aware of it. And so just taking the step to send the email was really, really awesome, because that's admitting I need some guidance here on how to step out of this and step away from this behavior and thought processes I was having. So, yay. And, going back to the Pinterest thing, there have been times that I have had to get off of social media. I might still post stuff, but I don't allow myself to get on there and start scrolling through, because I do find that tendency to compare my world at times with other people's. And exactly what you said is so true. I mean, we have a good life. I mean, by all means, we're very blessed. But man, there's days that I don't like you. There's days I don't like our son. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I'm mad. I'm tired. I'm sick. There's plenty of those days, but I don't put those on social media.
All of the seven dwarfs.
Yeah, all the seven dwarfs. I become all of them.
Pouty and sneezy and...
I truly become all of them. And I have struggles with fear, and I have struggles with anxiousness and control and, and all those things. But I don't talk about that on social media. So if somebody is just watching me on social media, they may think she's not perfect, but she has it all together. Oh my goodness, I don't have it all together. So I definitely think discerning if maybe that's something you need to do is take a break from social media. I also think going to your husband and repenting to him and just telling him, man, the Lord has revealed this to me, and I need your help to change this thought process. Because the idea of doing ministry together is wonderful. And I know that's from the Lord, but guess what? It may not be this season. That might be something for the season when your child goes to school. It might be something for the season when your child graduates from school. Just because the desire's there doesn't mean you have to have it fulfilled in that moment.
Right.
The Lord will open the doors for that when the right time comes, and you have to trust that. So what is the season that He has for you right now? Is it that you are supposed to fully engage with, don't worry about the home part and the apartment part and all that jazz, because as much as we want to make a house a home, a house is not a building with four walls. I guess a house is a building with four walls. A home is not a building with four walls. A home is where your heart is. I know that's a cheesy line, but it's true. It is where your family is. It's investing in your family more than the stuff and the appearance, right, of family, like really investing in them. So really thinking about and praying for what the Lord has for you in this season. And I think that as you give it to Him every single day and you make the most of it, He's going to give you satisfaction you never thought you could have. And it may be that He reveals an opportunity for you to go work part-time. It may be that He reveals an opportunity for you and your husband to go do ministry together. You never know.
Well, it may just be you taking the kiddo to a mom's get-together at church or a small group for ladies who have toddlers right now, and you do ministry and your kids hang out and you create that community, and then you feel better because you're actually serving and God's given you an opportunity. And it may not involve your husband in this season at this point in time, but like you said, Lisa, it could be for future, which is really cool that she kind of has that sensing and direction. But we want, when we've got these inklings to go, now, it's going to be now. We like microwave and
We
not
do.
oven.
Yeah.
Is it a destination or is it a journey? Is it a process or is it an end result? We're all in process. We're all on a journey going towards a destination, but on the journey, don't miss the things that are happening while trying to go towards the thing you think might be out there. We had a pastor who said this. He's like, he gave this image. He's like, okay, I'm running down this hallway, and there's a big target at the end of the hall, and I'm running towards this target. But then all of a sudden, there is this side hallway that intersects with the hallway that I'm in, and I'm running, and I pass it, and I turn my head, and look, the target has now moved over down this new hallway. He's like, if I hadn't moved towards the target that was in the first spot, I never would have seen the target in the second spot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So God's getting you moving. He is obviously dealing with your contentment and where things are now. And you're moving in a direction, and be okay with the movement that you've got now. It may not seem like a lot, but God's doing stuff in you, obviously, getting you to that next spot where he can change the target or what it looks like and have you go in that direction too.
Okay, so here's a couple more practical things. Hopefully we've mentioned a couple, but here's a couple more as you were talking that really popped in my head. One would be, keep in mind what Stu said. Ministry is everywhere. Ministry is when you're talking to the cashier at the grocery store. Ministry is when you're going to have coffee with a friend. Ministry is pouring into your child. I mean, those are all
good.
opportunities to be in ministry. I
Yep.
think we all think we have to be on stage and have the title to be, quote unquote, doing ministry.
Right.
But as believers, our ministry is the everyday small stuff that the Lord gives us. So that's number one. Number two, I would encourage you, to journal if you don't already. Journaling every day, I'm not good at it, but for a lot of people, journaling every day allows your mind to put things in perspective. And you can just journal to the Lord, just talk to him. And I think that he will start revealing things to you as you do that. And it's just a great outlet for a lot of people.
And the cool thing about that is you can go back to it in years to come and go, oh, look where I was, and look how much God really showed up. And, you can put prayers there, and then you can see how God answers those prayers and write down the answers to those prayers as well. And just day to day, it helps you process and not necessarily minimize, but you can almost counsel yourself because you write stuff out and you go, that's a crappy thought. And you can keep writing through it and, well, why do I feel that way? Well, why do I feel this way? And you can really get down deep into things that, might be helpful.
Number three, I would say really pay attention to what you're putting in your mind. I love the fact you're listening to our show, and hopefully you're being encouraged by it. Find some other podcasts that you can commit to listening to every day that you feel good when you get done. I love Joyce Meyer. I can listen to Joyce Meyer's podcast any day. And even if her message is not dead on to something I'm dealing with in the moment, it leaves me with I got this, I can do this kind of attitude, and just feeling like a connection with the Lord. So you have to be intentional when you have little kiddos, but be intentional, take some me time, especially early in the morning before everybody's awake, and really try to get your head where you want it to be for the day. And then lastly, I would encourage you to think about where you feel the happiest. For me, it's funny. I don't realize how much I enjoy going and having coffee with other women or lunch and communicating with other women, how much that feeds my soul. And not only hopefully do I encourage them, but I'm encouraged through the conversations. And there will be, because life and it's busy, there will be times where it will be weeks before I have that kind of real, authentic conversation with another woman. And then I'll go have it, and I'm like, I need to do this more often.
Yeah,
because
really.
when I walk away from those conversations, I'm always like, woohoo,
that's good. Yeah.
that's great. I can do, it's just such a good feeling. So for you, figuring out the things that you do in your life that you feel or get fulfillment from, and continue to be intentional about doing those on a regular basis.
And I had a thought, so we'll do this 4.5, okay, 4.5 point, okay. My thought was, make sure you're getting sleep. Because if you've got toddler running around, you're probably running on sleep-deprived life and probably not thinking too clearly, and everything seems overwhelming. And I don't know how old toddler is, but those years can be tough.
Yes.
And, they do demand a lot. They're so amazing and so cute and so life-sucking sometimes. And it just is what it is. So
Yeah.
make sure that you're also doing some self-care. I think journaling is part of that, but make sure you're sleeping and trying to eat as best you possibly can to just as a family. I mean, that can be helpful.
Thank you so much for the email. We're really glad once again that you're listening and hoping that some of the things that we said will really meet you where you are and give you some tangible things to really think about in the next couple of days.
Tell your friends about this show, your married friends. I mean, we've had people who've said they've taken the podcast to their small group and then talked about the podcast, which is crazy cool. We love that. So, I mean, you could do that as well. Subscribe in your favorite podcast app. Ratings and reviews do help us get found by other people, so we do appreciate those. And again, if you want to send us a question, on air at stupendousmarriage.com or 1-615-592-1060, the Stupendous Marriage line.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Yeah.
Like the show? Like the show?
Yeehaw.
Share the podcast. Tell another couple.
Hold on. Hold up.
Give me a levels, please.
Oh, I'll give you a level. Is that long enough? Because I have something I can talk about this like.
We appreciate you. Subscribe. Was that 3 or was that 4?
That was 4.
Hold on.
Did you have a 5?
No, because you said and the last. So hold on, I had something I was going to say. 1.
1. I should do drum roll or something. Life is.
Are you wanting to do this now or not?
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Hey, honey. Now you know how annoying.
It's fine.
Okay, let's start over. Yeah.
Like the show? Like the show. Share the podcast. Tell your married friends.